It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege and honor of interviewing the United States Sports Academy's Chair of Exercise Science, Dr. Catherine Wahlstrom. How are you doing today?
Good, Brandon. How are you?
Doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get started in working in sports education?
Yes. So my story's pretty interesting. I actually did not know that I wanted to work in sports education at first. I kind of got into sport and health and fitness later on in life. So I actually did amateur bodybuilding, became like a super passion of mine, and and I had the opportunity to get a degree in exercise science. And I was just like, hey, I'm passionate about, fitness and health. So this is the path that I'm going to take now.
Of course, what was that your experience like going to the United States Sports Academy to study exercise science?
It was really good, really hands-on. I was able to develop a really good relationship with all of the faculty members. Um, I would reach out to them by email. I even, I've lived close, so I would even come and walk into the building and have one-on-one conversations with them. And I think that really helped me to get through the program.
What were some of the things that as a student you learned in exercise science?
Well, I would say you probably heard this before. There's a lot of bro science that is out there that surrounds, fitness and health and everything. And I think what I really learned is the actual science behind exercise and how it can really improve your body and performance.
Of course, what was that process like going through the doctoral program to become a doctor in exercise science?
Well, my doctor is actually in management. And so like I said, I have a reverse story. I had my doctor in management first, and then I decided to go back and get a second master's in exercise science. But I would say that the experience of going through a doctoral program kind of really solidifies your, I would say, intrinsic motivation or your self motivation to achieve something. And so that's what really, pushed me to go back and further my education even more.
Of course, how was that experience like getting a doctorate in management and then getting a regular degree in exercise science?
Actually, I really enjoyed it because a lot of the times we go to school and we have a motivation, whether it's a promotion or a specific job that we're looking for. And for me, like, this was really my passion. I really wanted to learn more about how I could improve myself and help other people to improve themselves as well. And so it was really an enjoyable experience for me in that sense.
Of course, with your exercise and science degree, what were some of the fields that you were able to work in?
So, as you know, I work in higher education, but for other people, a lot of people say personal training. And so, yes, you can be a personal trainer, but you can take it a step further and actually work with sports teams as an athletic director, and or an exercise physiologist. Of course, that requires another test um, for a certification in that. But I would say if that's what your passion is, to definitely go further and make that happen.
Of course, what was that experience like getting to come back to the United States Sports Academy to become a director of exercise science?
It was great. The minute that I heard about the United States Sports Academy, I was like, why haven't I heard about this sooner? Because just having a school that you can really hone in on what you're passionate about, specifically sports focused, I was like, this is exactly what I need to be doing right now. And like, can I get started immediately? And of course, like I didn't get employed here the moment I found out about it. I went through the program and everything, but that was my ultimate goal, was to actually like to work here.
Of course, for my listeners that don't know about the United States Sports Academy, what is it and what programs and services does it offer?
So the United States Sports Academy has been around for, I'm going to say 51 years now. We celebrated our 50th year anniversary last year in 2022. We got started because there was a need for coaching education to really better our athletes' performance. And this goes back to the 1972 Olympics. There was just, I mean, you could see the need. We weren't performing well, and so our founding father said, "This is what we need to be doing. We need to do better in sport. We need to have education for our coaches, our managers, anyone who's working in the field of sport, so that we can continue to perform at our best, both on a business level and an athletic level."
Of course, what were some of your roles as the Director of Continuing Education?
So so as a director of continuing education, that was my first role here. I worked with a lot of international clients. We really didn't have a domestic base, and right now we're working to expand that. But we already had relationships with some of the governmental entities on an international level. So, like the Sports Authority of Thailand. Pretty much, we've had I would say, over 15-year relationship with them, and helping their sports directors to work with their athletes and perform both on the sports exercise science side of it, the coaching, and also on the managerial side. We've worked with 67 different countries in the past, and we're still expanding and building on those international relationships. But I think our primary focus now is working on the domestic and building our brand in that area.
Of course, what has that been like, obviously, getting to work with the international and work with those different countries to bring exercise science, and not only exercise science, but sports in general?
Um, I love it because I've always had a passion for traveling and learning about different cultures. I think, like, obviously we're number one when it comes to gold medals in the Olympics. Let me just put that out there. I know that sounds I'm bragging a little bit, but at the same time, there's a lot that we can learn from other countries, and we're starting to see this even with the Winter Olympics and our performance there. There are a lot of countries that have made a lot of improvements, and I think we just need to have that back and forth of sharing information so that we can remain in that number one spot.
Of course, for those students in the United States Sports Academy, what services do you offer for after they graduate?
So after they graduate, we do work with them on their resume. We do resume building. We work with them on what entities they can reach out to as far as employment. We actually start that process before they graduate with our internship program. We have them, and our students are spread throughout the United States. But we really encourage them to reach out to local businesses in their areas, and work with people that have certain credentials. They have to be credentialed, as far as learning the background and the practical application of what they've learned in school. So we start that process, like I said, from the get-go, like as soon as they're getting really close to graduating, getting that internship solidified. And then we also work with some other companies, like you've probably heard of Exos before, where they have different wellness, corporate wellness and performance centers across the United States. They still have to apply for those internships, but I think that by the time that they are doing that, we've prepared them so that they can be successful in achieving that.
Of course, what is that experience like getting to see those student athletes and those students go on to work in like things like the Olympics, the Super Bowl, the NBA finals, things that are very popular in sports?
It's like that's when everything comes full circle, because a lot of the times, we're seeing the students come in. Some of them may not have a background in sport at all, and they're coming in and they're learning everything fresh and new. And a lot of us, we're working with them through, from freshman year to graduate year. We develop a really good working relationship with them. And then they're here. We had graduation last week, and they come in for graduation, and we're finally getting to meet them in person. It's bittersweet. I would say that it's bittersweet.
Of course, in 2022, what was that feeling like for you to get promoted to become the chair of exercise science?
It was unexpected, but also pretty awesome, at the same time. Um, I would say that I had a learning curve that came with it, but I'm pretty competitive, so I kind of like the challenge at the same time. Um, so I said, this is what we're doing. I welcome it with open arms, and I hopefully it's a testament to other people that when they get started or they have a passion later in life, that they keep following through until they achieve it.
What does a day in the life look like for you as an exercise science chair?
So, as with any professor, there's a lot of teaching, a lot of grading, but also we do advising as well. So I get a chance to talk with the students, whether it's on a Zoom, like what we're doing now, or by phone or email, and I'm working with them to plan their educational process and and making sure that they're staying successful through the program, um, regardless of what the obstacles are in their lives, because things happen, life happens, but we're here to be an extra support system for them, and so that's what I really like about having that advising role.
Of course, what are some of the things that people in exercise science can go to after studying the program?
So, like, I know the first thing that comes to people's minds is personal training, but there's more to it than that. So, like I said before, athletic director, working in corporate wellness, they can do that as well. A lot of the corporate wellness places are having it where they do have to have at least a bachelor's degree to work there in the field. Also, exercise physiology. You have to have that foundation, that background there, and then you go on to get a certification in that. But those are the jobs. I mean, and coaching. A lot of our exercise scientists, they go out and they may already be coaches in the field, and so they're building that background because they're like, wait, our athletes need more strength and conditioning so that they can perform at their highest levels, and they're coming back and getting their education in that. So there's a lot of different careers that you could achieve getting a degree in exercise science.
Of course, getting a degree in exercise science, does that also let you become an athletic trainer and work in sports on the medical side of sports?
Not on the medical side of sports. So there's some additional education that you would need to have to achieve that. You could start off in exercise science, and we're actually introducing some new programs at the academy to kind of bridge the gap there. We are looking into pre-athletic training as a minor here. And that would help the students to prepare on a bachelor's degree level, and then go into the specific athletic training needs once they went into graduate school.
Of course, for you as the chair of exercise science, what is that like getting to see those prospective students go into the field and go successfully into the field?
Um, it's great. It's exactly why I'm here in the first place, is to make sure that they are going, they're blossoming, so to speak, and they're going out and they're working in the field. I like to hear those success stories, and I know we've been getting some testimonials from a lot of our students, and so it's just validation into what I'm doing here.
Of course, for those prospective students, can you tell the difference between your school, the States Sports Academy, versus like a public school that studies sports?
Yeah, actually, I would say yes, because of the fact that we're able to build that one-on-one relationship with our students. At a lot of the larger universities, you just don't have that. And you see that with a lot of our, I would say, our Ivy League universities. That's one thing that they do advertise is like, hey, you get that faculty engagement that you don't get anywhere else. We're not Ivy League, but we still have that here. So I think that is definitely a differentiator for us. If they have questions, they can easily find my contact information online, even if they're not a student, and ask me questions about our program before they apply. So I think that's a bonus.
Of course, what are some of the things that sets the United States Sports Academy school apart from, let's say, Florida University, who studies sports management?
Florida University is a large university, but I would say the one thing that is different about us is, like I said, that one-on-one, getting that one-on-one engagement with the faculty members, but then also the fact that we are purely sport. Like this is our life's blood. This is what we do. And I mean, no knock to Florida, like more power to them and all of that. But we're living and breathing it here. All of our faculty members have a background in sport. Like I still participate in sport. It doesn't end like it doesn't end once you're out of college. Like you got to make this your lifelong, goal.
Of course, what are some of the things that you do set to set that balance between being the chair of exercise science and also doing things outside of sports education?
Um, yeah, I think you're right. It is a fine, delicate balance. But I try to make time. I try to schedule the time that I need for like my extracurricular activities. Like when I want to go to the gym, I don't usually wait till the end of the day. I'm waking up around 4:30 so I can get to the gym at 5 o'clock. And I'm just making sure that I'm getting everything done as far as like priorities, and then scheduling that time in for everything else. So if I have something that class I want to do after work, like I'll have all of my responsibilities done already, because you make time for what you want to do, for what's important.
Of course, as a sports professor, what is that like? Obviously, having those students learn and grasp the concepts and then go on and actually do it in the field.
Um, I would say it's a great experience. The one thing that I have to say about education is that it's continuously pushing you to learn more. So a lot of our students, they're working in sport. I had was recently talking with a student that she's coaching, at her women's volleyball team at a community college. And so we learn from our students just as much as they learn from us, but then they're also pushing us to stay one step ahead of them as well. So we're having to keep abreast of like what is the new research out there, that so that we can make sure we're informing them the best way we can.
Of course. So, what are some of your future plans in the exercise science, and what are some of your future plans for the United States Sports Academy?
So within exercise science, we're doing a lot of big things here. We are going to be going after the NSCA accreditation. That's the National Strength and Conditioning Association. I would say that they're the organization, and along with the ACSM, I'm not putting any organizations down, but they're really doing a good job of setting the standard for our exercise science practitioners. Um, One thing that they have done, which I'm glad, is that they've set our trainers, our personal trainers, and our strength and conditioning coaches apart from those that do not have the education, because that's where people end up getting hurt during the process, and then they don't go back to exercise because they have a poor association with it. So we're going after that accreditation, and we're looking to do that, get that done by 2024. We're introducing some new programs. One of the programs, like I said, we're looking into the pre-athletic training, but we will be introducing a minor in nutritional sciences as well. So I think that it's been a long time coming for that. Of course, we can talk about the sports side, the exercise, and the health, the science behind it, but you can't talk about all of those things without actually addressing the nutritional side of it. And so now we're moving towards that as well.
What advice would you give those people that are looking to study in sports and go to a school for particularly sports?
I would say do your research. A lot of people that come to us already have a field or their career in mind on what they would like to do in sport. So definitely, as with any school, do your research, reach out to our faculty members. They're very knowledgeable. Like I said, they have a background in sport. Set up an informational interview with either of us. We'll be happy to answer any of your questions. So it's more about just doing the due diligence and making that decision, making sure that you've made an educated decision.
What advice would you give those people that are looking to work inside sports education like you have?
Definitely, you definitely have to have a master's, and if you plan on, you can teach with a master's degree now, but if you really want to be an expert in what you do, I would say definitely go for that doctorate degree. Because it really forces you to delve into the research of it and how you can apply that research. So I think you really need to pursue the doctoral degree if you plan on working in the field of higher education.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find the United States Sports Academy at, and where can they find you at?
If you can visit our website, it's www.ussa.edu. All of our information is there, our program information, admissions, and even our faculty. We have faculty bios as well, so you can learn more about us.
Thank you again, Dr. Catherine Wahlstrom, for your interview, and best of luck in your future as the United States Sports Academy Chair of Exercise Science.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Dr. Catherine Wahlstrom, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.